about the radius of the artery, and is divided by the viscosity of the blood. And the most important, the Reynolds numbers. Eso es lo más importante y eso es lo que yo pregunto. This is that I asking. When the Reynolds number is more than 2,000, turbulence appear. When the Reynolds number is more than 2,000, turbulence appear. There are some that are inversely related, others that are positive related. Okay. Viscosity is inversely related, but radius is directly related. More is the radius, more turbulence. And velocity is also directly related. Faster moving the blood, more chance to have turbulence. Velocity and density, more dense is the flow, more. But this is only to understanding. You are not going to use the formula of Reynolds when you are working. It's only to understand what is turbulence, what produces turbulence, and the most important, the question that the examination is going to put is this one. This is the only form that logical asking you what is the number that is when they produce turbulence. When the Reynolds numbers is more than 2,000, there are more chance to have turbulence. This is how, it's very important when you are studying this that you figure out what are the questions, how much different questions they can have about the Reynolds numbers. And this is very little. They can ask you, density is directly or inversely proportional, velocity is directly or inversely proportional, and also that can asking you the 2,000 number. You need, when you go to one examination, to figure out in each item how the examination can asking you. And this is for that very important study by review question, because when you review question, you understand the possibilities that they can to have different questions. Okay, this is a little review to Doppler. Okay, we have three things in the machine. The amplitude of the echo, the distance that the echo moving, the range equation, and we have the difference between the frequency of the ultrasound that we put in the body and the frequency of the ultrasound that I get in the body. This is called Doppler shift. Doppler shift occurs only when the echo is produced, but something that is moving. There are no Doppler when the echo is produced in one organ that is not moving. Echo is the difference between the frequency of the transducer and the frequency of the echo. And this is called Doppler shift. And Doppler shift is directly proportional to the stenosis. More stenosis, more velocity. Velocity of the blood and Doppler shift are directly proportional. More is the Doppler shift, more is the velocity. And when you have elevated velocity, what is the name of the disease? Stenosis. Doctor want to know the percentage of stenosis. For know the percentage of stenosis, you need to know the velocity of the blood. To know the velocity of the blood, you need to calculate the Doppler shift and compensate with the angle that you are scanning. What is the maximum angle that the doctor accepts? 60 degrees. Because in 60 degrees, you are measuring the half and the machine is putting the other half. Remember that the angle, you put the angle. The machine calculates the Doppler shift, but the angle is something that you put. Doppler effect, okay, this is something, receive transmitted frequency, positive Doppler shift, when the red cell is moving to the transducer, I am going faster because I suppose you know this. Okay, negative Doppler shift, when the red cell is moving away But what happened in general, we must measure in diagonal, and this is no Doppler shift. Why?
Because
Because it's at 90 degrees. Okay, and this is the explanation of the sound. The Doppler shift is not a real ultrasound. Nothing. The Doppler shift is a mathematical that we use. But even it's a mathematical, it's hertz. And is around the audible range. What is the audible range? 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz. And the Doppler shift, that is not real, you put in the machine and produce positive shift, one speaker, negative shift, other speaker, turbulence, the two speakers. And this is very good to help you. And also, when you scanning the internal carotid artery, sound different than the external carotid artery. Internally, shh, shh, external, and this is something, but real, the Doppler shift is not a real number, it's only a mathematical, do not exist. This is for that, when we are scanning, the machine produces sound. And of course, we measure the velocity. This is the Doppler equation, we are not going to review. This is the Doppler equation, and this is how the machine produces. The velocity of the blood cell is equal the Doppler shift multiplied by the velocity of the ultrasound by 2 times, because it's coming and back, the original frequency divided by the cosine of the angle that you put. No more. If you go to vascular, they are not going to put operation. They want you to recognize what is directly proportional, what is inversely proportional. Remember, everything that is here is directly proportional. Everything that is here is inversely proportional. Doppler tip, we know, use a little gauge, put the gauge in the vessel, rotate the angle parallel to the vessel wall. This is the 3 tips to get, and you know how to do it. Duplex ultrasound is the combination of beam mode, cursor, gauge, and spectral Doppler. This is, you can put also color Doppler to help you, but only to help you because the important here is the spectral Doppler. You measure the velocity of the blood. What is spectral Doppler? A mathematical function between velocity and time. Do not confuse a spectral Doppler with aim mode. It's not the same, looks similar, but it's not the same at all. Aim mode is only the repetition of only one pulse. A spectral Doppler is a mathematical function between velocity of the blood and time. Duplex ultrasound, spectral Doppler. A spectral Doppler transducer, you can use pulsed Doppler that we have in the machine, and we can use also something that is called continuous Doppler. What is the difference? In pulsed Doppler, the machine produces a pulse and wait for the echo. In continuous Doppler, the machine is producing ultrasound all the time and getting the echoes all the time. This is the reason continuous ultrasound do not produce pictures, but continuous ultrasound produce spectral Doppler. And you can asking me, what use continuous ultrasound if I can get Doppler also with pulsed Doppler? Because when the velocities are very high, the machine gets wrong. This is called aliasing. Continuous Doppler have no aliasing. You can measure any velocity. And what is the problem with continuous Doppler? You have no image, you don't know exactly where you are measuring. And pulsed Doppler, what is the advantage of pulsed Doppler? You know exactly what artery you are measuring. What is the disadvantage of pulsed Doppler? When the velocities are too high, the machine put in the wrong place. This is called aliasing. Continuous wave major advantage, can measure any velocity. Continuous wave disadvantage, Doppler shift, and this is range ambiguity. You don't know exactly what you are measuring, and this is range ambiguity. You have the velocity, but you don't know it's here or it's here. This is the problem of continuous Doppler. Pulsed Doppler, the problem is the aliasing. The velocity appears negative when it's high velocity appears negative. This is called aliasing. It's the most commonly observed artifact in pulsed Doppler. And this is the Nyquist limit. The Nyquist limit is when the Nyquist limit is the Reynolds number for aliasing. When you have the Nyquist limit, you have aliasing. The Nyquist limit is equal pulse repetition frequency divided by 2. Pulse repetition frequency. What is the bottom that changes pulse repetition frequency?
Deep.
El bottom of deep. In other words, if you have aliasing, you put more superficial to don't produce the aliasing. Diagnosis of arterial obstruction, the most important, the velocity in the area of the narrow is higher. And this is the most important, not the only one. There are other things, but the most important is elevated velocity in the systole and in the diastole. Turbulence after the stenosis, you put the color Doppler and you see the stenosis and you know you are giving information to the doctor. And other here are proximal pulsatil change that is not very important, indirect effect of obstruction. When there are no enough blood, the arterioles dilated, and even the tissue is supposed to be a high resistance, no enough blood, and there are low resistance. In other words, after the stenosis, beginning triphasic, biphasic, and damped. This is for that. The damped occur because there are no enough blood and all the arteries posterior after the stenosis are open because they know, when one city have no water, everybody let the open with something and plick to clean. And in other words, when there are no water, everybody put on open to get all the water. That happens also with blood. Not enough blood to the leg, the arterioles have accumulate metabolites, and the metabolites are accumulate, the arteries open, and the blood moving easy. But there are no enough blood because there are a proximal stenosis. Distal to the stenosis, there are a reactive vasodilatation because there are one augment of the substance that produce vasodilatation. Color flow imaging is attractive, not to say seductive modality, to look in the vascular. Everybody here knows to use color Doppler. When the blood is moving, they get color depending of the direction and the velocity. You can see everything accelerated flow. We know what it is, normal systolic. You can see stenotic, yes, and this is the idea. You put the color, localize the area of stenosis, and measure the velocity where exactly where the stenosis is. Esa es la idea. You look in the artery, you recognize the plaques, you put the color Doppler, you're looking for the area that is the stenosis, and you measure the area of the stenosis, and with this and a table, you calculate the percentage of stenosis. You remember, 10% of stenosis represents 35% of flow. 50% of stenosis means 90%. You have the table, and between the velocities, you calculate what is the percentage of stenosis. It's not quantitative, this is color Doppler. Color Doppler passing pulsed ultrasound technique. How is the name of this? Energy Doppler. What is the difference? Only one color. You know that the blood is moving, but you don't know the direction. What is good? Because when the blood flow is very little, power Doppler has more sensitivity, have more capacity to look in the blood flow. In arteries, each cycle produce a distinct wave on the Doppler frequency spectrum. Of course, systole, diastole, each time the heart pumping produce a wave. And this is very important. The most important measure is this.